Good morning from Hill City. I'm Pastor Margie Gonzalez, and I just want to bring you another Take 5 segment. And today I want to read out of Psalm 94, 16 through 17. It says, "Who will protect me from the wicked? Who will stand up for me against evildoers? Unless the Lord had helped me, I would soon have settled in the silence of the grave." By now, I'm sure that you've realized that there are people in this world who are not necessarily good people. There are people who are sometimes going to oppose you. They're not going to like you. They're probably going to oppose everything about you. But these verses remind us that God protects us. We don't have to worry about evil people because God will protect us. And verse 16 asks a very simple but sincere question: who will protect me from the wicked? And it's a question that we've all undoubtedly asked ourselves. And that's because there are times where we feel attacked. There are times where we wonder who will protect us and who will defend us. He asked the question, who will stand up for me against evildoers? Because when we feel like we're being attacked, or people are talking about us, or people are spreading rumors and lies, we often wonder who is going to come to our aid, who's going to help us. But the Bible makes it clear that we have one who defends us. He's God Almighty, El Shaddai, the all-powerful, the all-knowing, the all-present God. He's the one who not only defends truth, but He is truth. He is the way, the truth, and the life. And so when you feel like you're all alone and you're being attacked, or maybe someone's against you, there are some key verses to remember when you're in that situation. Isaiah 54:17 says, "But in that coming day, no weapon turned against you will succeed. You will silence every voice raised up to accuse you." These benefits are enjoyed by the servants of the Lord. Their vindication will come from me. I, the Lord, have spoken. Let me read that part again. Their vindication will come from me. You don't even have to defend yourself, because your vindication comes from God. Here's another powerful verse. Exodus 14, 13 through 14 says, "But Moses told the people, 'Don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today,'" in other words, the enemies that you see today, "will never be seen again. The Lord Himself will fight for you. Just stay calm." So what I want you to understand about all this is that God never asks us to fight our own battles. He asks us to be still and let Him fight. He asks us to be still and let Him defend us and vindicate us. Human help is useless. That's why verse 17 of this psalm says, "Unless the Lord had helped me, I would soon have settled in the silence of the grave." In other words, I would have just probably hidden underneath my desk. I would have become silent, and I would have just sat still and died emotionally. But this verse says that the Lord has helped us. Psalm 60 verses 11 through 12 also say, "Oh, please help us against our enemies, for all human help is useless. With God's help we will do mighty things, for He will trample down our foes." Your job is to pray, and it's God's job to deal with our enemies. The only thing God asks us to do is to pray for our enemies. Matthew 5:43 through 44 says, "You've heard the law that says, 'Love your neighbor and hate your enemy.' But I say, love your enemies, pray for those who persecute you. If you do your job," in other words, if you pray for your enemy, God will do His. God will defend you. God will vindicate you. Psalm 62:1 says, "I wait quietly before God, for my victory comes from Him." When you are facing an attack, pray and then be still. Wait for God to defend and protect you. Wait for God to give you the victory, and let Him fight for you. So the challenge for you today is, will you let God be the one who protects and defends you in every situation? Lifts those bent beneath their loads. Have you ever been so overwhelmed or so burdened that you